Welcome to this short video on writing a business plan for the French profession libérale / entrepreneur visa process. So first off, well done. It's a really big move deciding to change your life and go to a different country. So well done for making your way here. Today in this video, I'm going to guide you through some steps on how to write a business plan and how to importantly write a successful business plan for your visa application. So without any further ado, let's get started. So my name is Kate Kurjay, and I successfully moved to France back in 2021, post-Brexit, post sort of lockdown COVID. We were still in and out of lockdown at that time, and I moved from the UK to France with my husband and then 18-month-old son. So myself and my husband, I wrote the business plans and did the whole visa application for the whole family. We were on entrepreneur visas and my son had the visitor visa. So I took care of the whole visa process and documented my journey in Facebook groups and wherever anyone would listen to me, because it was quite a new process for especially British people moving over to France post-Brexit. However, anyone outside of the EU needs to go through this process if they want to be self-employed, for want of a better word, in France. So a successful application in 2021, but subsequently became a subject matter expert, writing huge double page, triple page spreads for print magazines and being published online, talking about the business plan and the visa process specifically. So today I'm going to guide you through some step-by-step, some tips, some pointers for you to understand how to write a successful business plan. So your business plan really matters. If you are applying to set up a new business in France as a liberal profession, as an entrepreneur, it's not a formality. This is a key piece of documentation for your dossier that you're going to submit with your visa application. This really is your chance to explain to whoever it is that's reviewing it, so the consulate, the company that they have outsourced that process to, in whichever country that you're applying, it's your chance to explain to them, okay, I want a visa, but I want a visa to work, and this is what my work is going to look like. This is how I'm going to support myself. This is how I'm going to potentially support my family as well, if you've got dependents coming with you. And really what the French authorities are interested in is that you are not going to become a burden on the French society, social security, that you can actually support yourself in France. So this is a key piece of documentation. Now, with that being said, that means that you need to structure it in a certain way that when the person reviewing your business plan gets to the end of it, you want them to think, yep, they're going to be able to make this money. They understand certain things. They have done research on certain things. Their business seems viable with the plan that they've put in place. So I'm going to grant them the visa, so long as your other documents are in order, right? So that's what you're trying to do. So it's not a sales pitch. So this document, it's really important that you understand that you're not pitching for investment. You are trying to be as clear and simple and structured as possible, that someone who is not on Dragon's Den, on Shark Tank, trying to invest money, they're not wanting to hear like money, 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 sales, sales, sales. How can I make a return on this business? They want to understand that you will hit the minimum income requirements in France and that it is likely and viable that this business is going to get you there. Okay. So take off any fluff, any sales pitch, anything like that. That is not the point of this document. So let's go through a step-by-step structure. So you're going to start with your executive summary. So an outline, a brief understanding for the person on that very first page when they open the plan. They don't want to have to flick through 5 or 6 pages to be like, what is this business? What is this person trying to do? So be very clear at the very beginning, like literally one sentence of, I am going to set up this and I'm going to do this. Be really specific, really spell it out for them. Make sure that you include services. So what is it that you're going to do? How much is that going to cost, for example? Now, obviously, each sort of section that I'm going through has multiple sort of sub-points to it, but these are more the headline ones. Market research. This one's really important. So I used to review and support people sort of on a one-to-one basis for their business plans before I created a template that you could buy, a very low cost template. And somebody was setting up a food outlet, I won't say which one, some kind of food outlet for a very specific kind of food in Southwest France. And I said, well, you're missing this section on market research when she drafted it. And she said, oh, yeah, we haven't been over, we haven't asked anyone. Okay, that's a big gap that you don't want to have any gaps in your plan, certainly not as big as that. We can't maybe cover every single tick box, but if you're setting up a physical business in France and it's selling a certain thing, go to that place and ask people, would they be interested in that certain thing? Okay, it's as simple as that. So market research, if you're working online, what is the demand? What is the demand globally? What is the demand in France? Let's do some research on it. There's so much data available these days. I'm sure you can find some sort of data, some sort of statistics, study, and someone else's market research that backs up your plans. What about successful businesses doing similar things in different areas? Okay, there's all sorts of data that we can pull on. Linked to that really is the target client. Okay, we're going to think about the marketing strategy and very importantly, the financial summary. So the financial projections are one of the most important parts of your business plan. It needs to be multi-year financial projections, and you need to understand how to present that and how to explain the differences. Okay, moving on to a couple of common mistakes that, like I say, these days I have a very simple template that you can purchase, but when I used to review it on a one-to-one basis, these are some really common mistakes that I saw a lot. So people thinking that they need loads of data or a business degree or need to write with a certain terminology, like you are, like I say, pitching for venture capitalist investment, or that you need to write it in a certain way. You need to follow a certain structure to it. Okay, it's important that you guide people through in a very strategic flow. However, you don't need to write in a certain way. Your business plan will look different to someone else's business plan. You could be talking about a very similar business because your tone of voice, your style is going to be very different. But don't think you need to do some sort of fancy thing, run it through ChatGPT to make it sound like a degree level dissertation. It's nothing like that, okay? Be simple, be clear, be concise, but be structured and smart about it. It's all about that clarity and a realistic view. Okay, if you're not going to make a profit until month 3, month 5, month 6, put that in there, okay? As long as you're hitting, so your aim is to hit minimum wage by the time you need to renew your visa at the end of the first 12 months, okay? Which usually you start applying for at that 10-month mark. So have that in your head when you're writing your financial projections. So I mentioned my French business plan template. I now sell a very low ticket, easy peasy way to get this structure that I'm talking about. It's not a pre-written template because that would be impossible, right? Because everyone does so many different businesses, so many wonderful different businesses that, someone setting up a web design online business is going to be very different from a fish and chip shop. So this actually contains sections and prompts. Prompts, I just mean questions, okay? So I used my successful business plan and I literally, instead of the words that I'd written, I turned that into a question to ask the person who's writing the plan. So you literally answer the questions, fill it out, flesh it out, but this will save you hours and hours of your time. And it has helped, hundreds at this point, successful applicants feel confident in that their plan hits the mark when they submit their visa application. The link is in the description below. If you've got any comments, if you want to subscribe to my channel to hear more about the French business plan, there are multiple videos in this series, then please do so. Click the link below and save yourself a ton of time when submitting your visa application.